Hello guys, this week's discussion is on graphic design. The commercial I picked is a pretty old one. It's from 1984. It's the Just Say No commercial. That was about informing children about how to not use drugs and to stay away from drugs and alcohol. To say no to drugs. Um, It was a commercial that was really pushed by Nancy Reagan, which was the first lady at the time during the late 80s during the war on drugs. Ronald Reagan did had sponsored or um, committed to fighting the war on drugs, and his wife Nancy was committed to saving children and promoting awareness about saying no to drugs. Um, it was a very influential commercial on children. As far as myself and my friends, this is what an era that I grew up in where it was pretty bad with drugs in the Washington, D.C. area. It really sparked a lot of awareness on drugs abuse and keeping drugs away from the kids. The commercials were focused on teaching children how to resist peer pressure. Like I said, it was very influential to me. It helped me understand that drugs were bad for you, that it wasn't something recreational or something that people do because you got to see it so much it became like a household, a normal thing around the area that I lived in. So you didn't know what was wrong with it. I mean, it seems that everybody that was doing it. And until the commercials came out and the big push of saying no to drugs, then you began to understand that it wasn't for you. The design, the creation of the commercial was created by a guy who they ran a sponsorship. I mean, they ran a tournament. They ran a tournament to see who could win the rights to make the commercial. And the visionary the guy that won it, his vision was to promote to all the children to not do drugs because he felt like drugs was a pretty big thing that was being overlooked at the time, and he wanted to create a slogan or something simple that stick in the mind of kids and people that will help remember to not do drugs. He was pretty straightforward with his commercials. I remember one commercial as growing up as a kid where he used a frying pan, an iron skillet, and a egg to demonstrate your brains being fried away basically by the use of drugs in comparison to frying an egg. And we all know how when you fry an egg, the cooking status of how it kind of makes the egg do the process of the whole thing. And he's saying it's the equivalent of doing drugs on your brain. So I thought that was pretty straightforward. I thought it made a really far push far as the movement. It sparked a movement across the country. They had the Crime Dog doing commercials of just saying no. There were T-shirts, purses, and all sorts of products created just from just say no movement. So I mean, it was a really big thing in the late 80s. It also was so popular that it had reached heights that it was on a couple of they pushed it on a couple of sitcom shows in the late 80s. Punky Brewster and Different Strokes, just to name a few. Those were very popular back in my time again of growing up watching TV. So I thought everything about this was like influential. It really like pushed me to have a certain feel about a situation. So it was very influential to me. It didn't really cause me to buy anything, but maybe it stopped me from buying or doing something that wasn't necessarily for me. Thank you guys.